Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, hosted by author, educator, speaker, and mom, the Cool Cat teacher, Vicki Davis. This is episode 657. It's called the Covid-19 Education Question. Is this really learning? Now, during the day, Vicki teaches kids, but her nights and weekends are spent teaching parents and educators through blogs, podcasts, her YouTube channel, speaking events, and newsletter. Recently, because of the coronavirus mandatory physical distancing, her dream of reaching every child one day is becoming even more possible now, because distance education is being deployed like never before. In fact, if you remember, Vicki recently shared 10 important concepts to level up your online learning, and today's sponsor, Advancement Courses, has great ways to help. So stay tuned at the end of the show, and Vicki will tell you how you can get 20% off of their terrific courses. So let's launch into this, Vicki. You know, there are many people who say that online education is not really learning. In fact, they say kids aren't able to learn at all right now because of the trauma that they're going through.
You know, Vicki, here's the thing. We're always learning something. We never really can go through life without learning something from our experience. So every experience is a learning experience. Every disappointment is an appointment for learning. It could be an appointment for achieving. So we want to make sure that we understand that there's always something that students are learning. Now, one of the most important things students are learning, and from interviewing the psychologists and psychiatrists I've had on my show for the last few weeks as we've been focusing on this COVID-19 issue, the term social referencing keeps coming up. Social referencing means that kids look at adults to determine, how am I going to live my life? And is this adult functioning? And however they function, I'm going to function. It's just like this. When little kids fall and scrape their knee, what do? They look up to see if mommy or daddy is going to go, oh no, are you okay? And if you do that, then they cry. But if you go, oh, you're okay, then they just toddle on because they've used their social referencing to understand if there is something wrong with them. Now, one thing that psychiatrists have said, and I've had some on the show for several years who've said this, is that the news itself, if you play it too much, can be a trauma for children. And this brings an important element. We do not know what is happening in homes. We don't understand the level of trauma. Maybe they have a small home. Maybe they don't have room for desks for everybody. Maybe they don't have devices for everybody. Maybe we have a mom and a dad who are both healthcare workers, or maybe somebody in the home is quarantined. So no, this can't be compared to typical educational experiences, and all the research is off. I mean, it's just such a unique time, and there is trauma happening to many children, and it's a very different time. However, we have to understand that every disappointment is an appointment with learning, as I've already said, that everything that happens to us as human beings is a time for learning. And we know that having adults, having routine, these are things that help students through the process as they deal with grief, as they deal with difficulties. So, people can say, I'm going to press pause on learning, but you literally can't. As long as you're breathing, you're learning something.
Okay, Vicki, so since they are learning something, even though they are traumatized, what are some things parents can do to set their child up for success as they, quote-unquote, trauma learn?
The learning environment is so important, and having a desk. And, the first few days I saw kids, they might be dialing in and they're laying in the bed, or they're running around in the yard, or they're sitting, and they had no concept that they were literally in class. So helping kids understand the appropriateness of their behavior, is this a show and tell where it's appropriate to run around in the yard, or is this a class where I'm going to need to take notes or do something or engage with something? So, having a learning environment, having a structure, having a routine, these are things that are important. Also, if it's possible to use the webcam, that helps because our teachers are usually taught to make eye contact. So helping our students have a structure, helping them have routine, helping them have a place to learn, and kind of working out a family schedule, I think is very important. I don't think this is the time to just let them sleep all day and do work till 2 a.m. They might want to, but I don't know that that's the right thing to do right now. Of course, each family has to make that decision for themselves, and each school needs to be flexible, as long as the parents know that if their child is having trouble with an assignment at 2 a.m., because that was their decision, that they're not going to probably be able to find a teacher up at 2 a.m. to help them.
That's true. Not many teachers I know are up at that hour. But going with that idea, are there any other things that are different from a typical school year that parents should know about?
Well, I think it's important to realize that parents and teachers are partners in this experience, that we are working together. But I'll tell you, with my own son, the physical interaction, the face-to-face interaction, the eye contact, he definitely hugs me more. He puts his arm around me more because the physical contact is pretty much going to be me and, maybe his dad, but really more me because I'm the hugger in the family. So just knowing that I need to look at him and pay attention. I've rearranged our den so we have a place for games. We've rearranged our house so that he has a learning space and a playing space. And, we've started doing some different things together. I have a friend who they're building the Statue of Liberty with Legos. Some are having game nights. Just doing things differently as a family.
Yep, we're doing that here as well. And that's so important. Not necessarily Legos, but family time, discussion time. But family time doesn't comfort the kids who were looking forward to graduation or an important sports season or a study abroad.
Well, I'm the mom of 2 seniors. I have a senior in college at Georgia Tech, getting ready to graduate, and the dream of her life to graduate from Georgia Tech, and a senior in high school. And of course, everybody wants to graduate from high school, and here pomp and circumstance. And, right now it looks like that's not going to happen as they expect. These are rites of passage. And I do think that we're going to have to help this generation with closure. I think we're going to have to help this generation celebrate in their own way. One of the most miserable ways to live your life is full of regret or looking in the rearview mirror. So we have to embrace what this time can give us. We have to redeem the time, as the Bible says. But we have to know that this is a different time, and we're going to have to work to help kids with the ways they can celebrate, with ways they can say they've graduated, and also to help them understand that, hey, whether we have the ceremony the way you're used to or not, you have graduated. And now more than ever is a very meaningful experience. But I do think that there's going to be a need for closure. I have a friend who's not coming back to teach with me next year. And I didn't know that March 14th or March 13th might be the last time that I would see her. And, I was like, you have to come back at some point. And I don't know when I'm literally going to get to see her. We've already got a checklist for cleaning out our rooms for the summer. So, having that closure is important for kids. So I think we're going to have to be creative. I think we're going to have to be sensitive. We're going to have to listen, and we're going to have to help people understand that things are really different in this season.
Acceptance is a huge part. But would you also offer teachers and educators some tangible encouragement as they grip the wheel and try to move forward?
I think as we finish up that it's important for educators to know that we all need support. We all need to connect online. There's a lot of resources being shared under remote learning or distance learning or stay home ed on Twitter. There's great Facebook groups talking about best practices for distance education. But we do have to engage. We do have to help parents. We do have to have partnership. And they should not feel like it's homeschooling. They should know that they have a trained professional educator supporting them. I did do a webinar that I've posted on my blog and my YouTube channel about all the best practices of online education. So I don't really want to repeat all of that, but just know that there are a lot of educators sharing those resources and sharing that information because none of us should feel alone. We're going to have to move forward together, and we will get through this together.
Well, these are great ideas and good insight. And, we're all in this together. Experience is the best teacher, and we can all learn so much from one another. So thank you for sharing today, Vicki, on your birthday week. And maybe if you who are listening have a life lesson that you think would benefit others or something that you find that is working, maybe you can share it with Vicki. Just go to her blog or her website, find a place where you can share your ideas and share them. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.
Advancement Courses is today's sponsor and the number one resource for educators online learning, in my opinion. They offer over 280 graduate-level PD courses in 20 different subjects, all self-paced with up to 6 months to complete. Go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat and save 20% by using the code COOL20. All courses are available to either graduate credit through their CAEP and regionally accredited university partners, or for continuing education hours that meet your state requirements. Check out the 10 professional development courses to improve your online learning at coolcatteacher.com/level-up-online. With Advancement Courses, you'll never stop learning. Thanks, Advancement Courses, for sponsoring today's show.